Hi, everyone. My name is Anna, and welcome to my first episode of my podcast. And that is in my car. And the reason it's in my car, it's not because I don't have a space to record it. Two reasons. Number one, it is because I'm in the car all the time, and my life is very much kind of revolving around my car. And no, this is not a podcast about cars. But the other reason I thought that it would feel like as if you are here with me in my car and we're having an open conversation about stuff. And I don't have a name for the podcast yet. Maybe that will be one of the conversations we can have soon and we can decide on. But I thought that this will be a podcast that I will release every week and a little episode. And we'll touch on and everything about women and health, fitness, womanhood, sisterhood, women living in this world, and navigating this very interesting female centric life. Men are welcome too. You're more than welcome to come and ask questions and maybe give us your insights because we don't know everything and we are curious to learn about about the way you see the world as well. So I just thought that we can start breaking barriers and start opening up to each other more. And this week I wanted to share with you something personal, and every week I'll try to share with you, and all the conversations that we're having will be from experiences that I have. And it is about perceptions and the way that people perceive you or perceive us when we are in shared spaces, especially first impressions. And the reason it's about perceptions is because it's funny. Number one, well, this is first episode. It will make an impression of you of some sort, but I will keep trying to improve it and make it better for you. But it is because perceptions are such a thing, such a funny little thing that it kind of can define a lot of our relationships and day to day lives. And I'll give you an example. I was in a professional setting this week, and there were women there, other women, wonderful women that I was very excited to meet. And we were introducing ourselves, we were introducing our professional developments and accomplishments. And when it got to me and I started sharing about my professional experience and my knowledge and what I've brought to this world and what I hope to bring to this world, one particular colleague got very resistant and hostile towards me, to the point that when she would ask a question or try to we are engaging in conversation, every time I spoke to her, she was very resistant and very kind of catty. So I had to turn around and say, "Listen, I'm not criticizing here. I'm not trying to attack anyone or anything. I wasn't anyway. I said I'm trying here to help you, and I would love to help you if you want to hear from me." So it was a very strange situation. She mellowed down a little bit after as time passed, but I noticed that that kind of divide separation was there. And it struck me a little bit because I didn't expect it. I usually, when I see other people and when I walk into a room or when I'm working with other people, I always try to look at them as these multifaceted human beings that I can learn from. I can always find something in someone that inspires me and I want to learn from them, especially women. I have a lot of women that I call my heroes, and I have the motto that if you look up to someone and you want to be like them, try to learn about them more. Try to model kind of their behavior or understand their habits and try to incorporate them so you can be like them. I do believe that we can learn from the people we look up to. And I was speaking to my sister and to my mom about the situation, and I said I didn't understand why she was so hostile. It's happened before, but this one was kind of the most recent experience. And it was more in a setting where we were all kind of at the same level. So my sister said to me, well, were you wearing like, what you were wearing? And usually I'm a woman who likes to take care of herself. I like kind of fashion is little my side thing. I like to match color and style, and I like to even match my hairstyle to my outfit. I'm always conscious of that. It's a little hobby of mine, kind of a little. And I said, yeah, I was wearing my usual self. And my sister said, well, here's what happened. She saw a woman who is beautiful, takes care of herself. And also, she saw that you are intelligent and accomplished and you are driven. And she got jealous. Now, we don't know if this is the truth, really, what was happening in my colleague's head, but it made sense. And I thought to myself, well, why would that happen? Why would, I guess, okay, here's what another, it will make sense. So another thing that happened right after is I was speaking to a friend, completely not about this conversation, about something else. And he said to me, Anna, what are some misconceptions that people have about you? And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, people meet you and they have perceptions about you. What are some perceptions that people have about you that are not true? And I said, I never really thought about that. I never really asked. And he kept pressing me, but I couldn't really. I said, I don't know. And he said, well, for example, and he was just giving examples. What about the dumb blonde or the beauty without the brains? And I said, well, I guess I never really asked, but it kind of connected to the theme that was happening this week to me. And I said, well, people are always surprised when I tell them that I'm a mom. People are always surprised when I reveal what I do for a living. And I've often had like, oh, I thought that you were an esthetician, or I thought that you're working in the beauty industry, which is very flattering. But it's interesting conversation to have because I recognize that we live in a world where people perceive us just based on how we look. And especially us women, right? When we walk into a space, we immediately, people would, I guess, look at us and make conclusions. And especially if it's in a space that is more competitive or more intellectually demanding. And we women feel we have to perform. I've even had the cases where a close friend of mine would say to me, well, you work in a very male dominant environment. Maybe you should wear more boyish clothes and kind of tone down your womanness and flamboyance. And not that I'm very flamboyant, but just be more manlier. And I've tried. I admit that when at first I would wear mostly pants and and would pull my hair back, but I recognized that this is not who I am. And a reason why I don't really think about what other people think about me is because it shouldn't matter. I'm always the type of person who believes that we should be out there, our authentic selves, and contribute the best that we can and support each other, especially women to women. So it was an interesting thing and interesting thoughts that are going on in my head about perception and how we're perceived and how we present ourselves. But I don't think I would change how I look or what I wear or how I change my appearance. And I think that's important. And it's important, especially with social media, right? There's a specific persona about about pretty much everyone. And I think it's more important that we break those boundaries and break these kind of cliches and perceptions. And that's another reason for this podcast. I'm hoping that we can showcase our kaleidoscopic, multifaceted, interwoven reality of being women and being human to human. Anyway, that we'll figure it out. But the first thing we need to do is figure out a name. So if you have any ideas, throw them out there. We can vote on it. And I look forward to having a chat with you again soon.